Good morning team and welcome back to the channel. So another video today. I'm going to try and get a couple of videos out with me being up in UltraFlex, and today's video we are going to be running a high day, so calories for this day. And what I'll do is I'll take you through meal by meal. I'll put the calories and macros on the screen. But today we are going to be consuming 4,720 calories, 196 grams of protein, a whopping 801 grams of carbohydrates, and then 80 grams of dietary fat. So what you'll notice is the food that I'm going to be eating is going to be the same food that I eat on a daily basis anyway on a training day. It's just going to be more of it. So more carbohydrates, a little bit higher dietary fat, but we have pulled down protein slightly to allow for greater digestion. And then what you'll also notice is that my veg quantity is slightly smaller. So my chicken and rice and beef and rice, instead of having 100 grams of veg, we have 50 per meal. So I'm excited. It's going to be a good day. I actually had a bit of a decent sleep. It is 4:10 at the minute. I was up at 3:30, but I managed to go to bed at a fairly decent time last night. So total sleep was actually 6 hours 18. So it's not the 7 hours that I would ideally like, but it is much better than what it has been. Tuesday, 3 hours 48. Monday, 5 hours 42. Sunday, 4 hours 55. So it's been a good sleep. It's been a good sleep. And I'm glad I had a good night's sleep as well, because I am going to be training with Ben, who's my coach, but then Alex as well, who also works with New Gen, who is a fucking animal. He's absolutely massive and strong as a bull. So it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day. I'm looking forward to getting into my first meal, but it's 4:10. We're going to be training, or should I say meeting there at 9 o'clock. So what I will do, because my meal one is going to be a much bigger meal, I'm going to eat at 7, and then I'll have my pre-workout on the way to the gym. I've already prepped my post-workout meal, because after I train, we've got a videographer from 9 till 11. So we're going to get this filmed. I'm presuming Ben's going to be filming it for YouTube. But then I'm meeting Case, who's my posing coach, at 12:15. So if the session wraps up by 11, at least then what I can do is I can have my post-workout cereal. I can then do some steps on the treadmill to help that digest. Case will come. He'll look at me in person with my posing, make a couple of tweaks. I know there's going to be a few tweaks we need to make. And then I'll come back, work, steps, and then just eat my food, eat my meals. Because what I will be doing is making sure that I'm on top of at least a 10-minute walk after every meal, just to allow for greater digestion, with it being a lot more food today as well. So I'm excited. I do enjoy a good high day, but the only thing with high days is you think because it's going to be more food that it's like you're going to be full and you're not going to be hungry. Sometimes it can just make it even worse, because there is more food. You know, you're eating more of it, that sometimes appetite just goes up even higher. So I hope I don't get too hungry today, even though it sounds like I won't on 4,007. But trust me, when I ran this high day before, I was still peckish, still very peckish. So we're going to get cracking on with some more work. Just got a few program updates to do this morning. So we've always got stuff to do. So Dan's happy with his updates. Gareth, need to give him his 5th training day. He's new client of mine. We started off at 4 days per week training. 2 weeks in, he's like, mate, I want the 5th. So I love to see it. I love to see it, because he knows that he wants to be in the gym, he wants to be progressing, and he's bored on rest days, which is music to my ears. Let's get training 5 days per week. So let's crack on with today. The thing is with this Airbnb is lovely, but it is cold. I can turn the temperature up. I just don't have a clue where the thermostat is. But I do enjoy being cold anyway. When I'm in Dubai, I've got the aircon on like 18. The missus absolutely hates it because she likes to be warm, whereas with me, I like to be cold. So yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Gonna get these updates done. Gonna get some steps done. Gonna get a good 10-minute walk in. Got some YouTube on in the background, something bodybuilding related because it's my life at the minute, and also at the same time there's some good value that can be had from YouTube. I learned a lot from my early coaching days of building up my knowledge from just listening to people who are very experienced in the bodybuilding industry. So I'll stick some videos on, do some steps, have some food, but this may be a long video. This may be a long video because what I'll do is I'll show you my high day, but I'll also take you through the session. Maybe not the full session. What I'll probably do is like a couple of the top sets, and then when I come back, talk you through them like I've done before, with like teaching cues, my thought process, and I'm going to see if I can get some posing clips in here as well. So it's going to be an exciting day, guys. Exciting day. So let's attack the day. Let's get our head down. Let's make sure work is all done as a number one priority. And then we just eat a lot of food today. We eat a lot of food today. So 20 past 4, let's crack on and let's get after it. I've had to turn the heating on. It is absolutely, or should I say it was absolutely freezing in here. I had a look at the thermostat thing and it was like 17. And I was on the laptop and like my hands were fucking Baltic. So heater's on, supplements are taken, programs are up to date. And now we go into our morning coffee. And is there anything better? If you're like me and you love your coffee, is there anything better than that first sip of coffee in the morning? And what I was treated with when I came here was there was instant coffee, and it was the Costa coffee. So we've got black coffee, 1 sweetener, no milk. And sometimes I was doing 2 sweeteners, but I want to sort of like cut that down, so I'm doing 1 sweetener instead. So I'll have this, and I'm not going to lie, I'm counting down the time until I go into my first meal because I am absolutely starving. I'm not going to lie. I'm very peckish, and we've still got a good while, to be fair. But it's a high day. And with this meal, with my first meal, we have 2 squares bars. So we have the cream of rice, we also have squares bars. So what I'm probably going to do is like, I want to eat at 7, but what I may do is like 6:30, 7:15, I may just start nibbling on the on the squares bars, then have the cream of rice, get on the walking pad, get some steps to help that digest. You know, what I don't want to do this morning is go to the gym feeling bloated. So like I'm not like tanking water down. You know, I want to get a good 2 litres in before training. Whereas before, what I would usually do is just wake up, tank loads of water. I don't want my stomach to be blown out. Ben's going to look at me fasted. Ben's going to look at me post-workout. So, yeah, we don't have our midsection blown out. So, coffee, electrolytes, creatine are in. Always have my electrolytes before my morning coffee. And then we're just going to sip then this morning on the water. We're going to have at least 2 litres before we train anyway. And we're going to be carved right up. Pumpage by Train by JP's in the bag. I need to get my gym bag sorted, to be fair. And then we get a big meaty push day done on higher food. Today is going to be a good day. So what I thought I'd quickly touch on as well before I get into my first meal is when it comes to productivity and routine, what I absolutely live by is my to-do list. Like, I will not go anywhere without this to-do list pad. And the reason being is being a business owner and being very busy and providing a service at a very high standard, I don't want to miss anything. Any tasks that come through, I write it down. I know a lot of people go off like Google Calendars and notes and things. Don't get me wrong, they are great. But for me, what has worked the best and has worked the best over the past 3, 4, 5 years is working off a to-do list. So every Saturday or Sunday as well, what I will do is I'll have a task to do that is planned out the next week. So I've just got all that boxed off, you know, in the sense of I've got next week planned out. It's all written down. My training, my cardio, my calls, my work tasks to do, when to film a YouTube, when to edit a YouTube, you know, then of course when the check-ins come through, I write them down. And it's the same with like anything that pops up, you know, like this morning now, if I get a message come through, hey Tommy, like, can we change X, Y, and Z? Not a problem. I write it down, you know, because if I'm busy working, if I'm deep into a certain task and a message comes through about adjusting something, or a call gets booked in, or I've got a setup to do, I write it down. You know, I write it down and it's like, right, I've got to get it done. You know, and the reason for this is at the end of the day then, as I'm starting to unwind, I look at my to-do list, is everything done? If there is something that is not done, best believe me, I do not leave it for the following day, because that following day, the list is massive. You know, so what I don't want to be doing is playing catch up and going back and being like, right, I've got this to do today, but I've also got these tasks to do from yesterday. You know, for me to perform at my highest standard, you know, deliver the service at the best possible quality that I can for every single one of the lads that work with me, to-do list. Get it done. So if you have a business, if you run a business, even if you don't, you know, even if you just work the 9 to 5, for example, you know, having a to-do list is going to massively help you with your productivity. You know, regardless of what job you have, regardless of anything, get yourself a to-do list, write your tasks down, and then just make sure that every night before you go to bed, everything's all boxed off. That is a tip from myself that helps me massively. So write it down, have a to-do list, and live off that to-do list as well. Right, guys, so it is time we start eating. It is 6:30. I will be eating my cream of rice at 7, but we've got 2 squares bars to go in with this meal. So instead of having the cream of rice, then the squares bars, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have the squares bars first anyway. And we have 2 squares bars with this meal. So cream of rice is ready. It's in the fridge ready to go. We're going to have 2 squares. But guys, marshmallow ones. Marshmallow ones are lower in calories. And then what I'll do is I will show you the cream of rice meal. I'll put the calories and macros on the screen, walk you through what that meal is. But first of all, we're going to dig into 2 squares bars before we get into the cream of rice meal. Right then, so we have meal 1 going down. I've already had the 2 squares bars, but this is going to be 150 grams of cream of rice. We've got 150 grams of frozen berries. I just use blueberries. 20 grams of whey as a drip on top. 30 grams of dark chocolate. Once again, I use almond butter. And we've got 20 grams of honey. A little bit of sweet cinnamon on top. And then we've got 2 grams of pink salt in this meal as well. So I am really looking forward to this meal. I always make it the night before, then I add my toppings on in the morning as I'm about to have it, because having it cold is so much nicer than having this meal warm. So I'm going to have this. It's been a very productive morning, you know, very productive morning. All work is all up to date. To-do list is where it needs to be. Plan next week. We're ahead of ourselves. So I can enjoy this meal knowing that we're all up to date with work. I've also got my morning vitamins that I have in this glass here, so I'll take these with this meal. We'll do a walk to help this digest because it is a larger meal. And then the next thing that we will eat will be more squares bars. I'm meeting Ben in the gym at 9. It is currently 7 o'clock now. But this meal will probably take me about 15-20 minutes to eat anyway. So then that gives an hour and a half for this to digest. Plus we got the squares bars. Once again, I don't want to be bloated and feeling sluggish going into the session. So let's tuck in and I will see you guys as we're about to head to the gym. And now we go into the pre-workout snack. And I'm not going to lie, cream of rice digests and goes down super, super easy. Like for me, having that meal, 150 cream of rice, I probably could have done another bowl. And that's the thing when you're on a high day, you think it's just going to fill you. But trust me, it doesn't. It can be just as hard, if not harder, than your baseline food anyway. But pre-workout, we're going to go 4 squares bars. I'm going to have 2 in the Airbnb. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 2 on the drive down to the gym, because the gym's only going to take me 15 minutes to get to. There is a bit of a change of plan though. We're not going to train in UltraFlex. We're going to be training in S20, which is a sick gym anyway, you know, but apparently you're not allowed to film in UltraFlex, and we're filming this video for YouTube on Ben's channel. So we've got like a videographer as such walking around with us. So just to save the hassle, we're going to go to S20. It only takes me 15 minutes to get there. So what I'll do is I'll have 2 squares bars now, and then I'll have 2 squares bars on the way to the gym. I'll have my pump pre-workout, no caffeine. It is just a pump formula. And then we get into the session. I've got my post-workout meal in the car, because the only disadvantage now to not training in UltraFlex is I've got to go to S20. We've got to train, in-person check-in with Ben, film a YouTube. And then I've got to get in the car, have my post-workout meal in the car, drive up to UltraFlex, which in all fairness is probably like a 20-minute drive. It's not like it's 2 hours, but drive up to UltraFlex, see Case, because I got an in-person check-in with him, because he's going to look through my posing. Case is my posing coach, and then I will be coming back to the Airbnb. And we've got a call booked in tonight as well, so it's going to be a busy afternoon. It's going to be a busy day, but I'm here for it. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good day. I've got my scale, my food scales, my Frosties are weighed. My food scales are in the car, honey's in the car, cinnamon's in the car, and spoon is in the car. Spoon. Yeah, spoon is definitely in the car. Because what I'll simply do is I'll get in the car, I'll weigh my, well, Frosties are weighed. I'll put my whey, so my protein in the drink, in the Frosties, and then I'll weigh my honey and a sprinkle of cinnamon. But you'll see that meal anyway. You'll see that meal after. But let's have the squares. Let's brush my teeth. Let's brush my teeth, and then we head to the gym. So just pulled up to S20 Health and Fitness at the minute. So what I'm going to do is, instead of taking you in the gym and walking around with the camera, what I'm going to do is I'm going to film my sets. Maybe not all of them, but definitely a good handful. And then when I go back to the Airbnb later, I'll just like do an overlay of the sessions that I've recorded and give a bit of an update on the session. But I've just seen Alex go in now, so I'm gonna have a good catch up with him. Ben will probably be fashionably late, so wait for Ben to come and then we get stuck into the session. Looking forward to it, guys. And that is the session wrapped up. And I do apologize because I think I only had 2 training clips from that session. It was one of those where, because we just wanted to get our head down, we wanted to train, we wanted to fully focus on the session. I didn't want to be walking around with the tripod like in, yeah, I just wanted to lock in. It was one of those sessions where I was like, right, it's a high day, I need to be utilizing this food, I don't want to be fucking about. So I'll put the training clips on the screen anyway. But we also done some posing rounds, so Alex was there as well, who is also a very, very good coach. It was good for him to look over me. And we're going to make a few adjustments to the stack design, which I'm excited for. Obviously, I won't expand massively on the stack design because it's specific to me. But there's going to be a few adjustments made there. But what we're going to do, I do apologize as well, I didn't record my post-workout meal because I had that in the gym. So that was 150 Frosties, 20 grams of honey, 20 grams of whey with a sprinkle of cinnamon, and now we've got another 2 squares bars. So 2 more squares bars to go in. I'm gonna have these on the drive to UltraFlex now because we're cutting it fine, to be fair. Let's have a quick look. UltraFlex is gonna take me 25 minutes to get there. So I'll get there at 12, pause with Case, go back, then we go into our next meals. So Sorry I didn't pick up too much content, guys, but I know this video is going to be a bit of a long one anyway, but we are training pull, me and Ben, tomorrow anyway, so I'll see if I can get some more clips on that one. But yeah, let's get to UltraFlex and let's get this fucking posing done. Yes, team, so that is posing done, and Jesus, posing does not get easier. I need to keep drilling it, need to keep practicing, but Case is very happy, which makes me very happy. So he's very happy with the posing. There's just little tweaks now that I need to do. So keeping the abs on, you know, rolling my delt a little bit back so I don't flatten it off. But the main thing is just keeping these abs on at all times. So what I need to do is just get conditioned enough with the posing. You know, I'm going to start doing vacuums in the morning as well, just to have better ab control. But no, I'm very happy. So that is training session with Ben done. We filmed that for his channel. We come over to UltraFlex, posing with Case. We've done that, but I'm 50 grams short of frozen blueberries, which if you watched last video, I did touch on the fact that having a list to make sure that you've got everything that you need so you don't have to pop back out to the shop. But I didn't get enough berries, so I need to get 50 grams of berries. Because yes, it's only 50 grams, but 150 is on my plan, and I've got 100 in the freezer in the Airbnb. So let's go Tesco, back to the Airbnb, and then we finish off the day working. Yeah, been a good day, guys, been a good day. Feeling good, feeling hungry, but we've got 3 meals to have and we've got 2 squares bars to have, and the meals that I'm having are higher volume than usual. More rice, a little bit less protein, but more rice. So I'll show you that. I'll make sure that I show you these meals, because I know I've been slacking. Even with the posing videos, guys, the quality on my phone was shit. I'll see if I can get some photos from either when I was training in S20 or when I was training here, or when I was doing the posing here, just so you guys can see how I'm looking. But yeah, let's get it done. Let's get it done. So Tesco, Airbnb, and how many steps we got to do? Surely I've done quite a lot. We are on 6,000 steps, so 4,000 to do, 4,000 steps to do, which would be a piece of piss. So let's get back at the apartment. All WhatsApps replied to. Tesco, got what I needed to get done. Got my frozen blueberries, and now we're back in for our next meal, which is going to be our first cooked meal of the day. And this meal is going to consist of 150 chicken uncooked, 120 gram jasmine rice uncooked, and then 50 grams of greens. And then with this meal I have 2 squares bars, but what I'm going to do is I have 2 meals after this, and I'm not going to have these squares bars in this meal. I'm just going to have one with the next meal and one with the meal after. So let's dig into this meal. And I cannot wait for it because I'm absolutely starving. So here we are. And I got some new seasoning. I got some Cajun chicken seasoning instead of this one I just had in the house. So we'll get that on, and then we've got 2 grams of salt to go on this meal, and then 15 grams of hot sauce as well, which I'm looking forward to. And as you guys know, cream of rice is already prepped and ready for tomorrow, so I'm just going to leave that cool down before sticking it in the fridge. But yeah, like I said, I'll put the calories on the screen for this meal, I'll put the macros on the screen, but I'm going to have this, I'm going to enjoy it, and then we get back into work. Yes guys, so that is a good chunk of afternoon work done. Just sat on the couch now. Got some YouTube on in the background that I'm going to watch as I do go into my final meal. Not my final meal, my second but last final meal. But I just thought I'd give you guys a little bit of an update in terms of the training session. So we train push, we done triceps to start off with, and then we done pec deck. No, sorry, we done triceps to start off with, we done an incline hammer strength, then we done a flat press, then we done the pec deck, and then we done a seated lateral raise machine, we done a shoulder press machine, and then we done cuffed lateral raises to finish. Went over some posing, and then we're just going to make a few tweaks. So I know I mentioned it on the previous clips. We're going to make a few tweaks in terms of PEDs, so stack design, which I'm looking forward to be fair. So that will be going in from today. Just to tighten the look, get a little bit sharper, and just to get these abs going, because everywhere else is near enough in. It's just my abs and lower back. I just need to get that little bit sharper. The thing is with men's physique, you don't need to be completely inside out, hamstrings and glute shredded. You know, you still want to have that fullness and that pop there, which is what we're aiming for. But it is a high day today, as you know, with you obviously watching this YouTube video. But obviously, I'm traveling back tomorrow. I've got to check out the Airbnb at 10 a.m. But me and Ben are going to be training at 9 a.m. So we're going to train pull, and then I'm going to drive home. So I explained to Ben, like, 2 seconds, someone's at the door. Sorry for that. That was the landlord of the Airbnb, to be fair. Actually, really sound guy. He was asking if everything was all good and if I needed late checkout. But I'm going to be leaving at 8:30 in the morning anyway. So where were we? So obviously spoke to Ben. I'm going to be leaving early tomorrow. So we were thinking about potentially running a high day tomorrow based off data of tonight's body weight and tomorrow's fasted body weight. But I need to get my food prepped. I need to get it prepped so that I'm not running around like a headless chicken tomorrow morning before the drive back. So what we agreed on is running usual training day calories. If I am a little bit flat, you know, if the carbohydrates haven't really stuck, or when we're training and he looks at me post-workout, we're thinking we need some more carbohydrates, I've got a shit ton of squares bars in the fridge that I'll take with me, that I can just have on the drive home. Like if he says, right, we want to get X amount of carbs in, let's do it through squares bars, at least I can have them when I'm driving. Or what I said to him, which I'd be completely open to, because you guys know I love my cream of rice, is if it's a case of just having usual training day food, and then when I get home, add in another meal of just cream of rice and berries. You know, we can always look to do that, you know, so it's not a problem. But it is currently 4 o'clock. I'm going to have my next meal. Well, what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to have my squares bar. I'm going to have my squares bar. I'm going to enjoy that. And then I'm going to have my next meal that I'll show you guys. And then we get into the evening call. A few bits to finish off. And then I'm actually going to see if there's anything on Netflix. I'm going to see if there's anything on Netflix, see what the crack is on there, and then just do some work sat on the couch. It's nice to not be sat on that fucking kitchen table, to be fair. It's a nice change. And that's the beauty of this. I can work, I can be sat down on the couch, and still be very productive. You know, So yeah. Let's have my squares bar. I'm starving. Well, I'm not starving, guys. I'm peckish. Let's have my squares bar, and I'll show you guys the next meal. So next meal is in the microwave as we speak, and this meal is literally going to look like the exact same as the last meal, because it is the exact same. We have 150 grams of raw weight chicken, 120 grams of jasmine rice, and 50 grams of green beans. And what I also bought from Tesco as well, I forgot my sriracha. Oh, I didn't forget my sriracha sauce. I just didn't want to bring it because I didn't want sriracha sauce to go everywhere in my bag. So I got this from Tesco. It is Tabasco sriracha sauce. And in all fairness, the calories are super good. Any hot sauce, the calories are always going to be great. You know, per 10 mil, you're talking 15 calories. And hot sauce, you don't need a lot of anyway. So I'll put a photo on the screen of the meal, but like I said, it's going to look like the exact same as the other one. But I haven't really gone through the calories, to be fair. I did mention what the calories were at the start, but the calories for this meal: 706 calories, 46 protein, 116 carb, 7 grams of dietary fat. And then obviously we just had that squares bar beforehand, which would be 21 grams of carbohydrates that have gone in. So we're going to have this meal. We're gonna go on a little digestion walk, so 10 minutes on the walking pad, and then we get back into work, guys. Eat, steps, work, repeat for the rest of the day. Right then, so that is a very busy day wrapped up. It is currently 10 to 7 this evening, so busy day, busy day. Session with Ben, posing with Case, and then obviously keeping on top of all client work. As you guys know, that is my number one priority and always will be. So everything's all up to date. To-do list is done. All I need to do is finalize the YouTube and start editing the YouTube. So we're going into my final meal. Once again, guys, I have had my squares bar, but I will put a photo of this meal on the screen right now. And this meal, we have 150 grams of extra lean beef mince, 5% fat. We have 75 grams of jasmine rice. We have 50 grams of veg. Once again, 2 grams of pink salt and 15 grams of that Tabasco sriracha. That Tabasco sriracha, absolute game changer. I may even just continue to run that when I get back. But we've got my evening supplements. So my evening supplements in this shot glass here. And then we've got my added sleep aids, which are my sleep gummies that I bought from Amazon. And it does say to take 2. I take 3. 2 didn't do anything the first night I took it, or the second. I've taken 3 the past 2 nights. I had 7 hours sleep and I had 6 hours sleep. So I'll take 3. I'll take 3, and hopefully that knocks me out. I'm feeling a bit tired, to be completely honest with you. So hopefully it does knock me out. I've got 600 steps to do, which is 6 minutes. I'll probably do that without even needing to go on the walking pad. But what I'm going to do is prep my food for tomorrow. Get that in the fridge ready. Cream rice in the fridge ready. Probably just start packing the car. Like start filling up the car with certain things. You know, the only thing I need in the morning. Yeah, I'll start packing the car tonight, to be fair. Like put like my supplements in there. All of that stuff, like my protein, my whey. My protein, my cream of rice. I've got my whey prepared for tomorrow. I've got my Frosties prepared tomorrow. I've got everything prepared. I just need to cook my chicken rice, and beef and rice. So I can take them in the car on the drive home with me, because we're probably going to wrap up the session at, we're starting at 9. We'll probably have the session wrapped up by, I would say, 10:30. Whether I do cardio or not, I'm not sure. That will be Ben's call tomorrow based off how I'm looking. But I think I'll probably get back to mine 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock tomorrow. And then finish off some work. Because obviously I'll be driving for 4 to 5 hours. So there'll be a lot of messages to get back to. And then we go into Sunday, which is a busy day of check-ins anyway. I think Sunday is my heaviest day of check-ins. We've got legs to do, and we've got a couple of catch-up calls in the afternoon as well then, which I'm looking forward to. I do enjoy them catch-up calls. So what I will do as well, guys, I do apologize. This video is probably just like a little bit everywhere. You know, what I will do is tomorrow I'll film another YouTube video, which will be the full pull workout. I will hold myself accountable. I will film the full pull workout, and then I will add in all the clips, and I'll go over like teaching cues like I done on my push day. So I'll show you like my morning route. I'll show you the morning. I'll show you the session. I'll take you a bit on the journey home, just because I've shown you mainly that in this video. And then when I get back in the evening, I'll do the overlay and I'll go over the exercises. But I've just heard the rice cooker click. So I'm going to start tapping up my rice, have my final meal, and take my supplements and hit the sack, and hopefully get 7 hours. If I get 7 hours, I'll be buzzing. So thank you for watching, guys. As always, please like, please comment, please subscribe. If there's any videos or any questions that you do have, please drop them in the comment box. But I shall see you guys in the next one.